Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Anomaly course, Core Content Lesson 9, putting it all together. So what are we putting all together? Universal models, the three different types of candle closes, and applying our invalidation levels to those candle closes. So as you can see over here, you have IRL to ERL, right? The candle that trades into the IRL is not a candle 2. So you cannot trade candle 3 until it closes above the opening price of candle 2. That validates a C4 continuation. So as you can see, it closes it as an expansion candle. So we mark out the whole candle's range. We want to see C4's low respected in the upper half of C3's range. Over here, what do we see? Expansion into external range liquidity. We have a C2 closure as our confirmation. We mark out equilibrium of the entire wick. We want to see C3 support expansion lower from the lower half of that range into this IRL, right? So ERL, IRL, very simple. And lastly, over here, we see price trades into the range low, has a C2 reversal into expansion candle, mark out the entire range. We want to seek C3 continuation into the opposing side of the range or the range high from the upper half of the previous candle's range. So here we are on the daily chart. Let's go ahead and see how we put all of these things together. So what do we have? We have our universal model as price is straight into a range low, printed a C2. As you can see, price trades back and closes within the previous candle's range, having that nice C2 close, right? That is an indication of a reversal. So when it trades C3 back towards this gap, firstly, right, this gap, and if we disrespect this gap, then we can seek the opposing side of the range, which is the range high. So whenever you're trading order pairing ranges or manipulation ranges, whatever you want to call them, the gap is your first draw on liquidity, and we're gonna see how we react there, right? If we respect it, then it's probably, it's probably just ERL, IRL, right? But if it just rips right through it, you get that V-shaped signature. That's a reversal off the low, and you're probably going to see these highs being taken, right? So now let's mark out our invalidation point to C2, which is EQ this whole range, and look where C3 puts its low in above this black line, respecting the upper half, which is creating that small wick, that expansion candle away from our reversal. That's what we want to see. And as you can see, the way C3 closes is through this fair value gap, and it closes at expansion candle. So what do? We mark out the whole entire range of expansion candles. And we want to see C4, right, be in respect of the upper half of this expansion candle, as you see it does, right? It expands, takes out this failure swing high, creates another failure swing as the overall draw liquidity has not been taken. And like I mentioned earlier in phase of price, if you expand into some type of draw liquidity, we can undergo another phase of price, right? What do we see here? Consolidation. You guys see this consolidation inside bar, but the low of that little inside bar is actually a gap. So what does price go to? It goes from expansion, consolidation, right? The consolidation low is the gap high. So external to internal, essentially. You can view this as consolidation or retracement. Doesn't really matter. They're both continuous signatures. And as you see, price is opening very, very close to this key level. So what does that allow price to do? It allows price to create that small wick to reverse into expansion. So that creates a C2 closure from a key level, right? But this is kind of an awkward close, right? And remember, when it's an awkward close like this, we're kind of closed back in the range a little bit too much. We don't really close in the high. You don't mark out the entire range because obviously we're opening way too close to it. It'll easily hit that 50%. So what do? You mark it from the opening or the close to the low. That's how we do it. As you can see, price basically taps it perfectly or just about gets really close to that 50%, but it still respects it. And that's where you can see continuation. And we haven't reached the draw liquidity yet. So technically, here is an invalid C3 close, right? If you want to keep it super mechanical, right? It's kind of awkward, right? Where it doesn't really close above this high, that's fine. If you want to deem that as not valid, that's okay. But if it is truly going to remain bullish, you're going to mark it out the same way. We're going to mark it out from the close to the low, right? That's if you want to keep it mechanical, discretionary, up to you. But since there's a drawn liquidity open, I would not view this as a C2 to go lower. I just personally wouldn't, because I didn't reach the whole drawn liquidity, right? But yeah, that's how we put it all together, guys. Pretty simple, going from universal model to candle closure to invalidation point.